everyone, and welcome to Scare Roots, the spookiest classic RPG podcast, but we're talking about horror games.
Yeah. Classic horror games.
This is John and I's passion project where we play some old horror games and talk about them. I'm joined by, as I mentioned, John Necromorph Brandon.
Welcome to the Ishimura.
And disgraced former co-host, Dr. Stephen Bone.
Ooh, man, I got an upgrade there. I'll be boning.
And today we're talking about Dead Space.
On the spookiest day of all, 2 days after Halloween.
Ooh, the Saturday after Halloween.
Ooh. Just remembering how drunk you were and heckling us for getting into the vampire mode in the first episode of Vampire.
I know. I was actually thinking about that this morning. This game is very much. This game plays it super straight in a way that I appreciate. And it's not edgy at all like Vampire is.
No. There's no like. And then they were attacked by their own father, and
yeah, there's no like campy like soap opera type turns in this game. Maybe because there's like 3 characters in the entire thing.
Right. There is a twist.
At least, well, I mean, when you see the first when you see that doctor,
yeah,
and he's like, "These are my children, and you can't beat them." Yeah, that was a little campy.
That is true. Yeah, that was a little silly.
Is that the one who sounds like Werner Herzog?
No, he just sounded like some random dude. He didn't have a German accent, I don't think.
Who was the doctor that sounded like Werner Herzog?
Oh, Kine.
Was that Kine?
Was that the guy that gets murdered at the end?
Yeah.
He gets shot by your lady friend.
Your friend,
who's a traitor? Yeah,
the not obvious traitor from the beginning.
I've played this game through before, and I forgot that she was a traitor, and I was like, "Wait, oh no!"
So did I.
Oh, do you know how I figured it out?
How?
She kept calling out the other dude.
Yeah.
Like in the very beginning, she was like, "I don't trust him.
Be suspicious of that guy, not me."
And then, so I guess it makes all these communication errors make sense because she was like in the area where she could control it, right? But we'll get to that stuff.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions about this game because I've been reading supplemental material about it, and that doesn't help.
One of our listeners a couple weeks ago posted it was like an hour and 25-minute video that went into detail about the entire Dead Space series, and I watched it top to bottom.
Ooh.
Good God.
Oh,
yeah.
So you can help me understand what happened in this game, because I
know a lot.
I got questions too.
I got some questions. So,
well, let's get into it. So, where should we start?
First, my question is, and we sort of brushed on this, have you played this before, Jim? And what difficulty level did you play it on?
Oh, so, when I first played it, I think I played it on normal difficulty. For this playthrough, I definitely played it on easy.
Stan?
But I've played through all the Dead Space games multiple times. I've probably played Dead Space 2, maybe 4 times.
Oh, jeez.
Like New Game Plus, a bunch. 'Cause you get all the cool suits.
Yeah, the white suit.
Yeah.
Stan?
This was my first time playing this game or any Dead Space game, and I played it on easy mode because I am a baby boy.
Aw, I played this one on normal. I think I must have played it originally on hard back in 2009 when I played it.
God.
And no, it was 2010. It was 2010. And, cause I found this way easier, except for like 2 points. There was no real challenge to this game. Except for the unkillable monster who's still, no matter what difficulty, is really hard.
Yeah, for me, the challenge was just getting through the game. And not because it was bad, but because it was it was, I don't want to say it was scary, but it was definitely anxiety inducing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, my life hack for games like this is to take off my headphones if I'm feeling stressed out and then put on a podcast.
Yeah, I tried that and it just made me dizzier,
Oh.
which was another issue I had with the game, was it made me dizzy while I was playing it, so I could only play it for like 30-minute increments.
Interesting. I didn't find this game to be. I mean, I played it on easy, but like I used a plasma cutter as my only weapon the entire game.
Yeah.
I did not even purchase or attempt to use another game or another weapon.
I used 5 weapons total, I think.
Oh, wow.
I had the concentrator beam. What's that?
Oh, the contact beam.
Yeah, the contact beam, which is fun. The line gun and the pulse rifle, which I got rid of, and the flamethrower.
In easy mode, you never are low on ammo anyway, and it doesn't take much to kill these
Right.
things.
Yeah.
So.
And that even on medium, that's a problem. That basically they don't want you to keep using the same weapon. So if you've been using the plasma gun too much, you won't get plasma gun or the plasma cutter. You won't get ammo for it for like half an hour. And
The only thing I needed that I didn't get a lot of was med packs.
I usually made sure I had a few, but I barely used them. Like the only things that ever really got me was, so there's a variety of, I do like the enemy variety, but there's the fat ones that are pregnant with little babies.
Yeah.
Or not babies, the ones that are pregnant with little crawly guys.
Yeah, I know.
And
You have to cut off their limbs and not hit their tummies.
is that what, cause I always make them pop every
Yeah.
time. And those little guys, those are the only things that really damage me other than the invincible hunter.
I feel like I acquired some like muscle memory playing this game because every enemy I would just shoot them in the legs until they fell down, and then when they went to crawl, I shot their arms off, and that was the most efficient way to deal with pretty much every enemy in the entire game, except those big tall guys who are made up of littler necromorphs.
Mm-hmm.
I never, maybe because I was using the plasma cutter, but I never found a good way to kill those guys.
Yeah, those
Well, the bouncy guys, there was nothing you could do about them. They just bounced and flew at you.
Yeah.
are those which ones are the bouncy guys?
I don't know what they're called. They were all Googaws to me.
Are they the Googaws from the other ship that are super fast?
Well, they were the ones that were just arms, no legs.
Oh.
And they would just
Yes.
like bounce everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I know which ones you're talking about. They weren't the super fast ones who like merged with their stasis units.
No,
No.
I did like the way the game put those enemies in to kind of shake things up a little bit.
Yeah. Although I upgraded my stasis pretty early on, so I had lots and lots of stasis, and that makes the game so easy because you could just freeze every enemy and then just like slowly shoot it and watch its limbs.
It was great for the big armored dudes.
Yeah.
You just put them in stasis, run behind them, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. They were never a challenge. But the regen guys are, I think, too hard almost. Like they were an issue for sure. The hunter. So,
Yeah.
this game, did you find it scary, Jim?
There were certain parts of it that were very tense. I didn't necessarily think it was scary, but like the invincible necromorph thing, I don't know, like there's one of these in every Dead Space game.
Yeah.
And for me it's always the most terrifying part. Like in the second game, they make this guy like in this game, you encounter him and there's ways in the environment to kind of do away with him.
Yeah.
Whether it be the cryo thing. In the second game, he just chases you and there's no way to dispatch him. You can only slow him down, which adds a lot of pressure and makes you want to fly through the end of the game, which changes the pacing up a little bit, which I like. But, the invincible necromorph guy was the scariest part for me.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
I do find the sound design is the scariest part of the game. Because it does accentuate if you don't have the headphones on, you're like, oh, there's an enemy there. But if you have the headphones on, it's like, and you hear the violins go because the enemy jumped up behind you. But without it, it's, especially now, it's reaching for me, my cutoff for finding a game scary mostly is if it's 2 generations old or older, it just becomes really cute. And this game is bordering on that, especially the physics, which are super broken on PC.
Oh, the like ragdoll physics of the corpses. You can just like soccer ball dead bodies around in this game.
If you like have bodies stacked on top of each other on PC, they just like start twitching until they go crazy and start bouncing around the room like a super ball. It's really funny. And like whenever someone dies, the physics kind of breaks. Like, anytime an NPC dies, like, the lady who's sitting next to her rotting corpse of a husband.
Yeah. Early in the game. I remember you posted a video of this.
Yeah. She dies and then just does this nice spin. And I could replicate it every time. Like I reloaded the game and she did it again. That like,
she didn't do a spin on mine, and I played the PC version. I was really hoping that she would.
Oh, maybe it's, I wonder if it's because I like have a AMD processor or video card.
I thought it had to do with where you were standing, but it didn't matter where you were standing.
Yeah, every time I loaded it, like, and anytime an NPC died, they usually do a little flip.
Oh, wow.
just a little flip.
Pirouette or something. So for people who haven't played this game, it's like Resident Evil 4, kind of. Yeah. With horror elements, I'll mix in a lot of System Shock.
Wait, it's like a horror game with horror elements?
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Whoa.
Resident Evil 4, but like, well, Resident Evil 4 wasn't that scary.
Nah, it was atmospheric, but not really scary.
Yeah.
That game, like I appreciated Resident Evil 4 because the mechanics of it really add a lot to the tension.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This game, the fact that you can aim and move around, it was a little more relief in that sense compared to Resident Evil 4. Like you weren't planted on the ground whenever you used your weapon.
I am a big fan of Resident Evil 1 through 3 and Code Veronica, like tank controls. I find 4 made it too much of a action game.
I could see that.
Yeah, I do not like the tank controls. I think relying on handicapping the player to add tension is a cheat.
I think that's a retcon of why they did it. I think it was because they hadn't really figured out how to control a character through 3D environments at the time.
Yeah, but Silent Hill did it and made a really creepy game on PlayStation 1 while giving you good controls.
Yeah, but that was also, 4 years after Resident Evil 1 and Alone in the Dark and all that.
Yeah, but Resident Evil 2 and 3 and 4 continued the weird tank controls. The Resident Evil 4 just put the camera behind your back.
Yeah, which did help a lot because then you could like look around and control much easier. But I don't know. There's something about the first 3 and Code Veronica. It's just the way they play, and Dino Crisis, which I'm very excited about. There's something slow and deliberate that I really like, that some, horror games are too fast sometimes, and this game, and even Dead Space is pretty slow too, which is, I think, one of the reasons I like it.
Yeah, the game doesn't like shepherd you at any pace through the game really, except for like a couple points. It kind of lets you move through the environments as kind of deliberately as you want to,
and none of the enemies really rush you except for maybe like the running guys from the fighter ship.
Yeah, and the enemies aren't like free roaming. Like most of the encounters feel, I guess scripted would be the word that I would use, but it's very context dependent.
And it seems scarier than it is. Like if you kind of take your time, they won't, even on normal, they won't really kill you. Like they'll kind of like loom around you and go like boogity 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 before they actually attack you. You have lots of time to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were only a couple points in the game where I felt like there were too many enemies or I guess enough that I felt a little overwhelmed, which was a little scary. But for the most part, it's like 1 or 2 at a time.
Yeah, the environmental hazards were more dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, and frustrating.
Yeah. Like the little, like the giant, what was it, a meteor? And with
that like asteroid thing
Yeah,
that you have to
asteroid.
figure out. It took me a half hour to figure out. You had to jump to it and then run to the other side of it.
It
Oh,
took
wow.
me half an hour to figure out like that I was done with that part of the puzzle and I need to leave the room and press a button. Because it doesn't tell you that either. So I was like, what am I doing here?
Look, I'm not going to lie. I had a FAQ with me so that I could, one, get through annoying puzzles fast, but mostly know where the jump scares were.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's useful. I'm not
Yeah.
a big fan of jump scares, but
This game is all jump scares.
yeah, unless you
Yeah.
don't have the headphones on, and then it's just like, oh, look, there's that guy. Like, it's not scary at all if you remove the sound effect, because they all
Well,
like
you can still hear it from your headphones when you open a door. There's a thing in front of you, and you hear from the headphones.
the animation and most of the monster movement are so slow, especially when they emerge, that it's like, oh,
Mhm.
there it is. Okay. Well, I gotta swing my plasma cutter around. And apparently, speaking of controls, I'm a bad PC gamer. I
Mhm.
play PC games with a controller. And
I do too.
everyone on like the TV tropes, which I read afterwards, were like, and now all you need to do, like, it's so much easier on PC because, especially the asteroid shooting part, because all you need to do is move the mouse. I'm like, oh, I guess I should have done that. Like,
That's the only time I played with a mouse.
apparently it's way easier. with a
Otherwise,
oh,
playing the game with the mouse sucked. It was much easier with the controller. And I normally play with keyboard and mouse. But this was trash on KBM.
I'm not a keyboard and mouse guy. I always get like confused and never remember
Mass
what
Effect
button
is so good on keyboard and mouse.
Really?
Yeah.
I could only beat the shooty asteroid section with a mouse.
Oh, did you play it on PC as well?
I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd never tried it with a mouse. I kind of wish I had now, because it took me like 2 tries for the first one, and for the second. Actually, I died in both those dumb mini games.
The second one, the first one, I rage quit. Like, I had to just stop for the day because I just wasn't doing, and I was getting more and more frustrated, and the more frustrated I got, the more terrible I was at it. And so I just had to quit. I was like, I'm kind of done with this for the day.
So we've played a couple of scary games now, but I guess like right now, the only like super horror game we've played before this is Silent Hill 2. Right? Because I would say Edith Finch is more like creepy.
Yeah.
It's more like, it's just got like a sense of dread throughout it.
Yeah. And compared to Silent Hill 2, I think this game is less scary.
The point that I was making a little earlier was this game is anxiety inducing, but when I stopped playing the game, there was no lingering effect. Like I saw, and it has nothing to do with my age. When I saw the first season of Stranger Things, or even when Twin Peaks: The Return came out and I saw that first episode, I was up for a fucking week having a hard time sleeping. This, I turned off the game and I was just like, it doesn't affect me. It wasn't scary. It was just weird noises and just awful sounds as you go through this ugly, dingy hallway with little gross beasts coming up, but nothing that would stick to my imagination after I finished playing. It didn't scare me. It just made me anxious.
Yeah, I agree with Stan. I think the main difference for me between like the types of scary that this was and Silent Hill 2 was, Silent Hill 2 was disturbing scary. And this one is just make you jump scary.
There's a couple of moments where it's like the guy beating his head against the wall until he kills.
That's not disturbing though. It's just like weirdly violent body horror-ish stuff. And the thing about like jumpy scares and that kind of stuff is once you see it, it's over.
Yeah, it's like walking through a haunted house attraction.
Yeah.
And my other problem with the horror in this game is the bodies. Once people die, their bodies become this like it's almost like a Lego figure where you can take the arms off one by one, and it just doesn't look like it doesn't move or look like a human body. It's this dumb physics blob, which maybe makes you sound like a serial killer, but it just...
I mean, it was great for the time.
Was it? I feel like there were other games which did this with like the body stuff way better. Cause like the gore isn't that good. It's just like your limbs get shot off every time. Or what
was it? 2006, 2008?
It's 2008. Yeah. And I feel like there were games that did like gore better earlier and like were more, I think cause it's more procedural violence than like bespoke animation where it's like, oh, gross, like nothing really made me cringe in this one. In Dead Space 2, there is an eye-opening sequence that is way worse.
Nice pun.
Uh-huh. And that one did. But the violence against your main character and all the NPCs is always kind of generic and kind of crappy.
Yes,
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I did like the little spine sticking out of you when you got killed by the little things around the asteroid.
Yeah, there was some like unintentionally hilarious death animations in this game.
Well, I like there's one that takes forever. I can't remember which one it is, but it takes just this thing just kills you for like 2 minutes. It's I think it's the crawly thing with no legs, maybe, where it can like just keep going and going. And that was pretty fun, but it's not viscera filled. It's just like the usual, oh, my legs fell off kind of thing.
Yeah, no, they just pop off. Nothing like gets like ripped or torn. There's no sinew.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine there's a whole lot of games back in 2008 that really could do that. I'm trying to think.
I think there must have been like I don't know.
Because that was 2 years after. No, because Resident Evil 4 came out in 2004.
Yeah, and that one had some gross deaths. I remember, but I don't think they were like graphic. Really, were they? I remember you got beheaded by the if you got close to the chainsaw men. I'm trying to think if there's any like super gory, like there was animated gory deaths in way earlier games that were way creepier, like in like Waxworks or something.
Huh.
But, yeah, I'm sure there are. None of them are coming to mind right now, but I'm sure I could, even Parasite Eve had some real gross, gory stuff that this game does not have. But I do love the necromorph designs. I think they're rad. Like,
yeah, I mean, me too. I wish there was a little bit more like variation in the way the necromorphs look. Like they just made them different colors for the most part to be like, this is the strong one and this is the regular one. But they mostly like, for a game that like has aliens that like transform your body and make it monstrous, they all transformed in mostly the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were very yellow and brown. And all the ones with legs had pants.
I liked the whole setting up the babies thing.
The babies was cool. Was there some lore behind babies, or they just had a lot of babies on that ship?
There is lore behind the babies. They have a body parts farm, and that's what the babies are for.
Oh, that's where all those were all about.
Yeah, it's speaking of lore, Jim, what happened in this game? If you could give...
yeah, because there's like a whole like story.
Yeah, like if you don't mind starting from like the beginning of, was it not Scientology?
Unitology.
Unitology.
Could you give me like a quick overview of the religion and what led to this?
Yeah, so, and I'm going at this from memory, but apparently I think it was maybe around 50 or 100 years before this game takes place, a guy found like a marker, the marker that turns people
like
into the necromorphs, and he found it on Earth in that big crater in South America.
Oh.
And they were studying it, and they're like, oh, this thing has like a signal or whatever in it that can that can heal people, and then it started to like gain momentum. And then what happened was the guy who discovered it, and I can't remember his name, he was kind of all about it, and then he realized that it actually turned people into monsters. And while this thing was gaining momentum, he actually tried to destroy the first marker, and he was killed by the government and turned into like this martyr, which is why and that's when the religion really boomed, is that like, oh, you know, it's kind of like a red pill scenario, like the deep state murdered this guy.
Did the government kill him because they wanted the marker for soldiers?
Yeah, it was kind of that. Like, I think they just wanted to study it more or something. But he was killed and martyred, and then there was a religion that kind of sprung up around the like symbology of the markers. Mm-hmm. And that's where the whole like background conspiracy comes from.
Well, the government's part of the religion, or there's a lot of people from that religion in the government, right?
Yeah, well, they're two very different things. In fact, in the third game, the religion is so big and pervasive that they decide to like attack or like try to overthrow what they call EarthGov in this game, like the government of Earth. So they're not like intertwined. In fact, they're kind of like opposing each other in a way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why in this game the captain is a unitologist. Yeah, the captain's a unitologist, and that's why he's kind of sabotaging the mission that EarthGov set, the research one where they're like messing with this colony and having the marker there to see, like, find out what happens.
Yeah, apparently, and I didn't really couldn't really follow a lot of the like background story stuff that happens in this game, but they were on this planet Aegis 7,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
illegally. Mining, and the captain was into it because he was a unitologist, and there was supposedly like a marker on this planet,
which I think had been left by EarthGov without telling anyone.
Well, the marker was synthetic.
They like kept it. Yeah, and like they kept this planet off the maps, I guess.
Yeah,
or they started terraforming it or something, and then they quit. There was something around that. But the captain wanted to get here to, you know, pick the marker up, and because it was like a religious thing.
Right. And there's two crazy doctors on board. Mm-hmm. One who is murderous and one who killed the captain accidentally.
By accident. It was an accident.
By injecting
he was trying to sedate him and accidentally punctured his eye.
But there's the crazy doctor who I thought sounded like Werner Herzog. I feel like because Kine had more of an English accent, didn't he?
No, the other guy had more of an English accent. The crazy one, I thought.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it was Kine who was going on and on about how beautiful these creatures are, right?
Yeah, no, it was the other guy.
Okay.
Because the other guy, it was the other guy. He had a beard and a mustache and kind of swarthy skin.
Yeah. And the game, I don't know if it glitched, but the game has these story moments. It's like BioShock as well. Every time you meet an NPC, they're behind bulletproof glass, and things happen that you can't touch or interact with.
Right.
And, but also this leads to you maybe not seeing things that happen. Like the bearded doctor just disappeared and I never saw him again. I guess he got killed when I wasn't
what happened
looking.
to him?
Because I didn't see him die.
Wait, bearded doctor? Who are you talking about?
The one who started the whole thing.
The like crazy doctor?
Yeah.
So at the end, he towards the end, he like offers himself to the winged things that turn corpses into necromorphs, and they murder him.
The hive mind?
Yeah, no, well, like the winged bird things that you'll run into that if you don't kill them fast enough, they'll jump on a corpse and turn it into a necromorph.
Right. And one thing that's interesting is Dr. Kine and you are being influenced by the marker to do good? it's like telling you to do the thing that will stop the necromorphs, but the other doctor and Kendra want to kind of keep the necromorphs going.
Something like that.
That's where it gets confusing, because in this game, the marker doesn't want necromorphs, but in the later games, they do. And that's, like, I was reading about this, and that's kind of a motivation flip, where the markers in later games are evil, but this one's good. Well, not good, but, like, neutral.
Well, the marker is trying to, like... So, like, you see your ex-girlfriend or your girlfriend in this game
right
throughout the game, and she keeps saying the term "make us whole."
Yeah.
Which, like, you're supposed to, as the player, interpret as, "Oh, let's be together again."
Like, but even the first time I played through that, I'm like, "Oh, she must be dead."
But she's not the only one who says that either. Like,
it's written on the walls too.
Yeah.
But what the marker wants is, like, all of the necromorphs to come together like a blob type thing, and then they become as you find out in the third game, the, like, necromorph supermoon thing.
Oh.
So, like, make us whole, and the convergence event. I don't know if they use this term in this game, but they definitely do in 2, is, like, when the marker is activated, all the necromorphs rush to it and come together and form one big thing that eventually turns into this big, like, dead moon thing.
Oh.
So it's kind of like the end of Enter the Matrix.
Did you also notice, I haven't seen, when all the
Agent
Smiths,
yeah, turned into a giant Agent Smith.
Did you notice that the first letter of each chapter spells out Nicole is dead?
I did. I didn't notice that, like, the first time I played it, but I remember reading that. And by the way, I was really grateful for the military ship thing, because the environment in this game are very samey, and, like, halfway through I was just like, I'm so tired of fixing shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you go to an environment and you have to fix something and then fix something else and then fix another thing and then move to the next environment.
I found BioShock kind of had that pacing problem too, that I liked BioShock a lot, but I hated just, like, it was a fetch quest and then you had to do a fixing thing to get to the next stage of the quest.
Yeah.
And it was always like, now you got to go here for an hour and deal with this guy so you can get this part to open up this door. And the plot never felt like it was moving forward. And I kind of felt the same thing here. Like, so you are going on the ship, as part of a recovery team, like an engineering team, because there's a distress call from the Ishimura. Mm-hmm. And you crash land on the ship because the automatic docking thing is broken, and most of your crew is killed immediately by necromorphs, except for you, Kendra, and, what's his name? Hammond.
Mm-hmm. You know, the only thing anyone should have done was just Isaac should have just hopped right into an escape pod and left, because those were working.
They were, but I guess he could have been in there for a long, long time, because, like, no one knew the ship was out there, supposedly, until you find out that there was a what would you call that? A warship or military ship waiting, like, 2 miles away.
Yeah. With instructions to destroy the Ishimura.
2 space miles away.
Yeah.
2 space miles.
So this game's divided into chapters, and each chapter is kind of like has a different theme or a different thing to do. What chapters were your favorites? You can have more than one. Stan.
They kind of blended all together, but I really liked the time that I had to destroy the giant butthole.
Was the giant butthole... Was that the hive mind?
No, I think it was chapter 6. It was in the flower place, the plant place.
Yeah, that's my hydroponics. That's my favorite area too. That was really fun. Although, I think I screwed up on that boss and, like, ran out of ammo, and I kept having to, like...
You weren't using the little launchers, the little red canisters, using your kinetics to toss it at them?
I think I just did it wrong, or I missed too many times, or I just completely ran out of ammo. And it will, like, send easy to kill enemies after you that pop and give you ammo. if you like fail as much as I did.
It would shoot little turds at you and you could catch them and toss it back at them.
Yeah, I think I didn't figure that out until way too late. So that boss fight took me like half an hour.
Ooh.
It was real bad. But yeah, other than that, I really like the pacing, the hydroponics. It was a bit different. It was leafy and fun.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked.
Yeah, it gave me something different to look at besides just dirty, dank, bloody walls.
Yeah, I feel like the game kind of overloaded the gore a bit. Like every room had 18 bodies in it, and it just you numb yourself to that so fast that it's not scary. But
Yeah.
Jim, what segment of the game was your favorite?
I liked the I think it's the medical part where you have to make the bomb.
Yes.
The like fusion, or not fusion, but the like that like chemical bomb. Thermite, yes. I liked that part because it felt different. You weren't just like like a lot of this game, you go to a thing that's mechanically broken and you use your kinesis to move the things to make it not broken.
Yeah.
And then it works. And this one was a little different where you're like going around collecting things in order to combine them into another thing.
I really liked all the zero-G segments. I thought those
hated
were really
those. I fucking hated those. I hated those, and I hated the air. Anything where I had to not breathe. It was just like, ugh.
There's one room where there's like a spinny, I think it's to restart the engine. There's a spinny thing. At first it's 0G, and then you turn on gravity, and you have to get around the spinny thing after it starts. And I was doing it the wrong way, and my brain just did not figure out that I had to go counterclockwise in order to not get gibbed by that machine.
Oh, you talking about the centrifuge one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. I was like,
You were trying to run with it?
I was trying to run with it for about 20 minutes. It does not work. And I was not picking up the clues that you needed to go the other way.
Your natural inclination to just turn right didn't kick in?
Nope. My brain's broken. Oh, speaking of broken, I broke this game in several fascinating ways.
Oh, tell us a few.
Okay. One is, so the hunter comes in, and he's made by crazy evil doctor. He's an abomination, that is unkillable. And that part's neat because he's like, Kool-Aid Manning through walls and stuff. It's pretty fun. The second time you meet him, they don't really actually a favorite part in the medical lab is freezing him. I really that was really satisfying figuring that one out and burning him the second time. That was also fun, although harder. There's one point in the second time you meet the hunter where you're just like, Kendra is unlocking a door and you have to survive 3 minutes. And I managed to barely do it. I'm like, I had a little sliver of health left, and I went through the door to the save point, and the hunter followed me, which he's not supposed to do, into the safe room, the next room.
Oh yeah, no. I did that. The same thing happened to me too. There's a save point in a hallway.
Yeah, exactly.
And like after you shut him out, you think, oh, because I'm at a save point and he's not supposed to follow me. He'll still come through the vents and attack you while you're trying to save. The same thing happened to me.
And if you open the door with him in that hallway because he's not supposed to be in the rest of the game just dies.
Oh,
wait,
okay.
what?
I don't remember what I did with him, but I think maybe I just ran away and I just never saw him again.
And the other one is that when you're towing the marker at the end of the game, this is only on PC, if you save like right before the last set of doors and bridges, if you save then the marker will not move forward, and you have to like go back and tow it back and then save again, exit the game, load your save, and then it'll work. Like I had to look online to figure that out because I was like, well, at least I did have a lot of saves, so I could have like gone back an hour and redone it, but that would have been super annoying. I liked all the stuff on the planet. I thought that was pretty fun too. And I really liked, getting the marker to the end and your inevitable betrayal.
Of course, there's always a betrayal.
Yes, by poor Kendra.
That's one of the things that I really like about. I mean, the betrayal was super telegraphed earlier in the game, but the like crazy religion aspect of this game feels like a nice. It feels different from other horror games, and it feels like it just adds an element that I really like. That's like that's very interesting and very ripe for like a lot of backstory.
It reminded me of the crazy religion in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, I was just thinking that when I said that. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting and like Scientology-esque, and I just find stuff like that like fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like the Resident Evil 4 one's barely like there's a couple of notes explaining it, but it's not really that interesting. I think this one, I really like the lore to this game. I think it's
a little bit better thought out. It's still ridiculous if you put too much thought to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the Resident Evil one is not even really a religion. I mean, it basically required these people to have a parasite in them in order for them to even be a part of the religion.
Right. So why did the necromorphs attack the vision that the markers were giving you? And why would it be a game over if your girlfriend dies in that segment?
That's my big question.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Who were you looking at? Because they were obviously doing a thing if you were hallucinating them.
I wonder if it was like her, like maybe not her body, maybe just a body being animated by the marker.
Body just moving around.
Yeah.
Punching codes into a computer.
Yeah. And why was Kendra not letting you know that your girlfriend was dead? Like, she could have mentioned it at any point in time. Did the whole crew see that video or just her?
I don't know. I kind of wish that they would have told you that she was dead in the beginning, and then when you saw her, you were like hallucinating a little. Like that would have been a cooler element than them like sandbagging this reveal that she's actually dead.
Yeah, it would have added a kind of
whole time.
It would have added a more ghostly element to it, and
to be honest, like the things in horror where like people are questioning their sanity and you're not sure what's real or not, that to me is super scary.
Yeah.
And I wish that they would have done that a little more. They do it a lot in the second one,
right?
But in this one, I wish they would have lead into it a little more, because like I like the idea of, because like every person, like NPC you encounter in this game is crazy. Like people who are already on the ship, they're all like insane or religious fanatics or whatever. And I wish like your character would have like evolved into that a little more. Like because it would have let you know that the things that were happening in the game were having an effect on the character, which would have made him more of a character.
Yeah, right. And it would have made the situation scary. Like the game isn't scary because it's very straightforward. You're in a ship full of hostiles and you've got to fight them. That makes sense. But if you are in a ship and you're questioning what you're even seeing, if it's even real or whatever, then you add an aspect of something that is unknown or unknowable. And that's what makes things creepy to me.
Yeah, me too. Like there's this thing that not only you, but like your character it's something so like horrific that they can't really comprehend it. That's scary.
Yeah. I think there were a couple of really good moments too, though. I hated the asteroid shooting and the boss asteroid boss monster shooting. But I really liked after you kill that boss monster, and the other ship, the Valor or whatever it's called, is always in the background. And then you slowly see it, like, you find, it's really lame when she gets the communications array open. It's like, don't open that escape pod. And they say, well, we're just opening this escape pod right now. Oh no. And then the ship comes right at you. That part's really cool. Like the ship crashing into where you are.
Right.
I really, really enjoyed that. Although, like, they knew necromorphs were on the ship. The fact that the necromorph killed the entire crew in like 20 seconds is pretty dumb.
Well, was it a smaller ship? Maybe it had a small
No,
crew?
you were. I mean, it's smaller than the Ishimura. It's like but it's like a full level size. You walk through it.
It was a very determined Guga in there.
Yeah. That Guga killed. There's actually about like a 40-page discussion on TV Tropes about how that one necromorph could kill the entire crew in 20 minutes. TV Tropes takes things real seriously.
So did you like the game?
I did.
Why the hesitance?
Oh no, I was just thinking, Jim's not answering us anymore. That's making.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Just making sure Jim was okay. I was kind of thinking, Jim, what do you think about this? How about we rank our scary games every time we play a new one?
Oh, we should.
But
like rank them against each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then offer our guest final opinion on that ranking.
Okay.
But
is this our third or fourth
it's our
one? I can't
third
remember.
game.
Okay, third game. Okay. I would put this one. I really like all of them, and it's tough to pick. I would say this one is number 2, Silent Hill 2 being first, and Edith Finch being third. And like, if we're saying that these, like, if the criteria for ranking is games that are scary, like actual horror games. I love Edith Finch for a lot of reasons, but I don't know that I'd call it a straight up horror game.
Yeah. I guess you could rank them on scariness or rank them on goodness, but I think rank them on scariness kind of works for scare roots. And I do think right now it's definitely Silent Hill 2 and then Dead Space. Well, you know what? Yeah.
It's tough.
'Cause Edith Finch and Dead Space are both not scary in different ways, but I think the writing in Edith Finch is much better, but it's not it's creepy versus, there are moments that actually make me go, in Dead Space versus.
If we're talking about games that I think are fun to play, I think this game takes it. Dead Space is up top. I think it's the most fun to play.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the scariest.
Definitely. Stan, did you like this game? And of the, I don't know if you've played the other two, but where would you rank it among scary games you've played?
I haven't played a whole lot of scary games, but I think this, because it made me so dizzy, would rank near the bottom because I could only handle so much. And you know what? That said, Resident Evil 4 would probably make me dizzy now as well, but back then I was still in my 20s, so probably could handle it a little bit easier. I think my top one would be Eternal Darkness. I love the hell out of that game. That was like a horror Zelda. The way
that's
that
the game that will like threaten to delete shit off your memory card or something. Yeah. I love that.
It had it was
kind of
creepy. It scared the shit out of me, and it also had a fantastic sense of humor.
Well, you'll have to come back whenever we finally play Eternal Darkness on Scare Roots.
How are you going to do that? It's only on GameCube, right? Or have they released?
Yeah, but
have they released it on Switch?
I think I own like 2 copies of it.
But you have to have a GameCube.
I have a Wii, and the Wii plays GameCube games, and Wii's are like $20. I think Jim has a Wii.
Oh,
I do have a Wii.
Yeah, so it's easy to play.
Yeah, it's a great game, or it was.
I'm curious to see how it aged. I remember really liking the limb shooty system and stuff, but I also found it. I never finished it. I got stuck at a puzzle. Like after I got stuck in one of the house parts when you're playing it in modern times. And there's some like magic puzzle I never figured out.
So I was able to handle it pretty well because you always had a melee weapon. Well, I think almost always had a melee weapon. So even if you ran out of ammo, that wasn't like you were dead. You know, you always had some way of fighting. And then you also had the magic abilities. So I didn't feel so anxious. The only time I did was when you played as Alex and walked through the house and you would hear like knocking and I'd be like, oh shit.
I am very excited about the next 2 games we're going to play though.
What's up? What are they?
Well, Julian is going to join us for playing Dino Crisis.
Ooh.
Which is a personal favorite. That game is real dumb, and I love dumb 90s survival horror.
Resident Evil with dinos.
Uh-huh. And then afterwards, we are going to play, what's it called again? Darkseid 2.
Oh, God, I'm so excited for that.
What? I've never heard that one.
It's a point and click, like adventure game, and it's got like the worst protagonist of all time, the worst characters. It's one of those like, it's almost, I wouldn't like, it's not animated or anything. It's got like actual like
digitized graphics.
Yes, digitized like character models. And it's so awkward and dumb, and the game is kind of broken in hilarious ways, and the writing is fucking terrible.
Oh my God.
It's weirdly fun and fascinating to play.
That reminds me of a game I played back in the mid 90s called Harvester.
That's the one I was.
Oh, it's just like
I mix
Harvester.
up Harvester, which is the one with the gay fireman. Is that
Harvester had a lot of terrible
I think it's Harvester.
Harvester had such weird environments. But this, yeah, so like Harvester is like a Darkseid 2 clone a little bit. It is. Yeah, Harvester is better because it actually has writing that people seem to care about.
Yeah.
In Darkseid 2, it's just like your protagonist whining at people up and down the whole game. It's awful, but it's so fun.
I'd like to play, pardon me, although this might be a Scared Sierra crossover, both the Phantasmagorias and Gabriel Knight, those games are, I genuinely like Gabriel Knight 1 and 2. I think they're really fun, spooky horror adventure games. And 2 is FMV, and I think it's in the short list of actually good FMV games. And I'm very interested. And Vanessa and I have agreed that we both want to play Phantasmagoria 2.
Yeah, she talks about it a lot.
She's never played 2. She's only played the first one with the magician.
I watched an entire Let's Play of 2, and it was pretty hilarious.
I think it was one of the first games with a queer character. I think it is the first Sierra game with a queer guy in it, which is interesting. Well, I think that's about it for Scoots. Not Scoots.
Not Scoots.
So maybe we'll have to put up a vote after Darkseid.
You know, that's a good idea to let our listeners vote on a game. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I would vote for a game.
You would vote for a game?
I would, as a listener and Patreon member.
You know what we should do is pick like a handful of potential games and attach a guest host to all of them and let people vote on the game and the host and the co-host.
Ooh. So we'd have to like ask a co-host which game they'd want to play. That gets confusing.
Well, no. Like they wouldn't vote on both. Like we would pick like if Stan wanted to be on Eternal Darkness and that was a game, it would say like Eternal Darkness with guest host Dr. Steven Stone, and then Dino Crisis guest host Julian or whatever.
That gets complicated.
John, it's just adding a name to the title of the game.
Okay. So we get them to agree to do this, and then they get voted against. They're never going to come on our show. They'll be like, oh, screw you. Your listeners don't want to hear me. I don't want to be on your dumb show.
Oh, man.
We'll have to think about that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and thanks everyone who's supporting our Patreon, because that helps us get these weird old games. And,
you're very welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Steven Stone. And thanks to anyone that tells their friends about the show, because that's another great way of expanding the podcast reach.
We love it.
Yes. So
we're very grateful.
Yeah. I need to advertise for you guys in Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, tell my FC about it.
Your flirty companions?
Still waiting for you to log in, John.
Yeah, I haven't. I have to go buy another game card. I ran out of time on mine. All right. Anyway, for Scare Roots, I'm Johnny Brandon.
I'm Jim Banks.
And I'm Dr. Steve Stone.
Goodbye, Stan. Steve.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Now, should we watch the Supergirl?
Yes, let's
All
watch
right.
a Supergirl clip.
Okay.
Let me get on that,
let's
back on
do
that Twitter.
1, 2, play. So, 1,
Oh, shit.
2, play. Are you ready? You Stan, you're
Oh,
come on.
you said 1, 2, play. I started
No,
watching.
no, okay. Let's do it. So, 1, 2, play.
This is fucking awesome.
That's sub Mass Effect.
Uh-huh. It's
Oh my god.
Oh my god. This is like a parody of a TV show.
and they're using
Oh no, the eyes.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, she caught the bullet. oh,
This is
no.
one of the worst things I've ever
Oh.
seen.
Oh, no, he's
All right, so what's
now.
better, this or Asylum movies?
This is
Yeah,
Asylum
that's a good
level
question.
CG for sure.
It's Asylum level acting too. Yikes.
Why wouldn't they pay for makeup instead of this thing?
I don't know.
It's like if you're going to CG something, why are you going to CG someone who looks like they're wearing makeup?
Yeah, also maybe cast an actual actor to do the acting. That guy's terrible.
You're so mean, Jim.
Right? I'm talking through a voice filter.
So, who wants to host today?
I can do it.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Let me. There are no notes. We're just kind of freewheeling this, right?
Yeah.
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 All right. All right. All right. I'm going to start the intro.